Hello YouTube, today's video is about how to promote yourself as a filmmaker without sounding like a total...
We're gonna shoot something really big.
Most people are really great at making things. And we are on set and in production maybe 20 to 25% of the time. And the rest of the time, what are we doing? Getting into a film festival is awesome, but on a small scale, that has trouble moving the needle in any significant way that is going to start getting you to a place where you get the recognition and have the impact that you need in order to monetize your career in a super successful way. And I don't mean by being one of the top 2%. That's great. If that happens, we're all stoked. But most of us work in the middle of this industry. We either are getting hired to do gigs, and sometimes we're lucky enough to sell our stuff. If we promote ourselves and are seen in a certain way by the industry, it is much easier to start selling your ideas instead of your time. And you know I gripe about that all the time. One of the things we have to remember is that consistency of messaging is so important in what we do. If the big studios are doing it, why aren't we doing it? Your other option is not to promote yourself. And then what we all rely on in that case is we rely on getting discovered. Well, there's so many filmmakers that are promoting themselves that they're getting to the front of the line. The filmmaker that is closest to their audience wins, because right now, great ideas are not the things that are selling, audiences are the things that are selling. So we have to build audience, and the only way to do that is to promote ourselves. And I get it, right? Most people are scared to post, and they're scared to post because of those 5 friends in their Facebook feed that are going to be total jackasses and not treat you in any respectful way, and we're afraid of that backlash, or we're afraid of that stranger coming out of the woodwork and calling us out on something or being a troll. So we're gonna have to, as filmmakers, get over that fear. And we're gonna have to do it without being sort of a self-serving egomaniac that says, look at me, in a way that is disingenuous or inauthentic. That's when people get turned off. But one of the things you can really do is, one of the tactics that I use all the time, is being real and being vulnerable. I mean, people say to me, Alex, thank you so much. You shook me by the collar. I'm known as that dude who shakes people by the collar and says, come on people, we can do better. And I take flack for that. I take heat for it, but I also get more responses of thank you than I do the people coming out and go, who the hell do you think you are? What I need you guys to understand is you guys are all experts at something. And you guys all want to be recognized for a type of work that you've always wanted to be known for. Like, that's what you got to lean into. Explaining your expertise is super important because experts are really easy to buy. They're really easy to pay. They're really easy to collaborate with, right? Somebody who makes a comedy one day and a drama the next and a sci-fi thing the next, the industry doesn't understand how to buy you. So what I want you guys to be able to do is talk about your expertise. Because if you guys can say what you're an expert at, people know how to buy you. And if you can talk about it frequently and consistently online, you're gonna really go places. People aren't just attracted to the work we make. They're attracted to our process, they're attracted to us, because we are the idea makers. Let's not kid around. Creators are amazing people. I mean, if you think about it, our business model is to come up with an idea at 3 o'clock in the morning and wake up at 7 and say, I'm gonna start my day trying to make that something that comes into the world that people can watch. So to me, that's an exceptional person. So why not do the same thing when we're promoting ourselves? Promoting is not an evil thing. And what we have to understand is, people say, I don't like being salesy. I don't like doing this. I don't like doing that. Tough, right? The people who are winning are promoting themselves, but the people that are really winning are doing it in an authentic way. And one of the ways you can be super authentic is to be vulnerable. Be a human. Don't be this perfect thing and like have all the answers. because we don't. We're imperfect beings. We go through the world not knowing everything. Let's admit it and say, boy, I really wish you guys would help me out with this. I'm having trouble with this element of my work, or which one of these stories would you guys want to see? And then all of a sudden your audience, when you start building that audience, they're talking back to you and going, I love it when you do this one thing. Now all of a sudden, if I hear that enough, I'm gonna make more of that. And it's still from who I really am. So I'm not selling out, I'm not doing any of that stuff. And telling that story, imagine if you told people en masse about why this work was important to you. They would fall in love with that. And then all of a sudden, when you do release something, there's an audience there. You know, some of the other things I hear are, I don't want to be an influencer. And I don't want to be an influencer either. That's not my goal. What I use social media for is to drive people to my site. Now, all of a sudden, I have impact when sitting at the buying table. And I was never a jerk about it. I never tried to tell you something that I wouldn't do myself. And I remained totally vulnerable while doing it. There was a video I did one time where I'm just walking down the beach and I'm talking about being afraid of releasing this video because I think you guys will think I'm overly sentimental. And you know how I know this is all true? Because I'm terrified to put this video out. I'm really scared because I think you guys will think I'm weird. I think you guys will think that I am too sentimental. And so I did it anyway. I got people responding to me and saying thank you, and then all of a sudden signing up for my email list via that YouTube video. Vulnerability builds trust. We really get to solve people's problems. Every piece of content we make solves somebody's problem. That's what we sell. We sell human connection. So why aren't we trying to connect with people every single day? And tactically speaking, we have to post regularly. So if I'm gonna post my videos on YouTube, I need to post, if it's Tuesday, it's Tuesday, right? If it's Friday, it's Friday, and right around the same time, because then people get accustomed to you doing that. And the content release strategy goes something like this. Once a week, you're doing a long form Facebook post. Once a week, you're doing a blog post. Once a week, you're doing a YouTube video, and at least 4 times a day, you're doing Instagram posts. That seems like a lot, but once you get into that rhythm, it just becomes natural. You're not gonna be salesy if you're you. If you lean into who you truly are, instead of trying to sell somebody something and making the video or the post transactional. At the beginning, we're after a core audience of people who really love what we do, because you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. They're gonna do a number of 4 different things. And the more of these they do, the better. They're going to watch, they're gonna like, they're gonna comment, and they're gonna share. And one of the things you can do that is one of my favorites is guest posting on blogs, on other people's blogs, right? And why do that? Because those blogs, if they're worth posting, guest posting to, then they already have an audience. And those bloggers are exhausted with having to make their own content, so they invite other people to contribute content. And if they have enough traffic, them putting you on their blog, you automatically co-opt their authority and their audience. They're giving you access to something that's much bigger. And in your bio, you have your website. One guest blog I did grew my mailing list by 33%. It went nuts. And so in doing that, I ended up having a voice that I wouldn't have ordinarily been able to have. And through that, that allowed me to grow my audience, sit at the buying table differently, because I get to say to those buyers, you know, my audience doesn't really like that, but I notice you're making things in this particular way that my audience does like, and I think we can start creating there. Now, all of a sudden, I have leverage at the table because I have something they want, rather than just a good idea. They are not in the business of celebrating art. They're in the business of putting advertising in front of eyeballs, right? So if you're bringing an audience that does some of the lifting for them, and brings people that they ordinarily wouldn't have access to, they're gonna pay you a lot better. So self-promotion doesn't have to be salesy, right? It can be authentic, it can be real, and then people start seeing you as an authority and an expert, and then people understand how to buy you, right? They understand either how to give you their time or their money. And that's ultimately what we want. We want our films to have that impact. So if this makes sense to you, subscribe to this channel and leave a comment. I'd love to hear how you guys want to promote yourself. If you have any questions, I'm here for you. You know I always am, and I'm talking to you.